Good evening, I'm Laura Lee.
And I'm Dan Wolf. Thanks for joining us. Cleveland-Cliffs is making a push to become the only steel company on the range. Its CEO Lorenzo Gonsalves is offering billions to buy U.S. steel.
And while we're far from a done deal, the two companies becoming one would have a massive impact on the Iron Range and surrounding region. Northern News Now's Natalie Hepner explains why.
Making iron mining history.
It would, for the first time, create a single company that runs all the mining in Minnesota.
Cleveland-Cliffs offered $7.3 billion to buy out U.S. Steel on Sunday. U.S. Steel rejected the offer because the board argued it was unreasonable. But Iron Range political expert Aaron Brown said conversations between U.S. Steel and Cliffs are still ongoing.
There's a lot of overlapping mined lands, leased land. A lot of things get a lot easier for the company if they don't have a competitor kind of mixed in with the land use throughout the mining lands of the Iron Range.
Cleveland-Cliffs currently owns 4 of the 6 iron mines in northern Minnesota, and buying out U.S. Steel's shares would give Cliffs control of all of them, along with the power of all the iron workers.
I would imagine that this will not stop the slow drain of employees lost to things like automation. I mean, we're looking at automation coming in even bigger. They're talking about electrifying their trucks. They're using artificial intelligence they just announced last week.
U.S. Steel says they have received buyout offers from other companies, but the United Steelworkers Union said they'd support Cliffs' buyout. USW's international president wrote that they feel Cliffs is the single steel producer in the best position to purchase U.S. Steel. It would help ensure U.S.-based iron manufacturing remains strong in the country. An endorsement, Brown says, is unprecedented.
Unions generally don't endorse mergers of major companies because of the risk to jobs. But in this case, the steelworkers have formed a very close relationship with Cleveland-Cliffs, and particularly with CEO Lorenzo Gonsalves.
The entire Iron Range mining industry closely watching for a potential purchase. For Northern News Now, I'm Natalie Hepner.
And conversations between the two are expected to continue. You'll remember Cliffs also recently received the mineral leases to the former SR site in Nashwauk.